The Martian is the latest film from Ridley Scott, and if you're a big fan of his like I am, then you've been probably quite disappointed with his output over, say, the last decade or so. He's really been all over the place. He's made a couple of good films, a couple of bad ones, but most of them have really sat in the middle. And then of course there's Prometheus, which everyone thought was going to be this fantastic film, and it was really just okay and not a whole lot more than that. Thankfully, I am pleased to report Ridley Scott is back with what is easily his best film since Gladiator, and if, like me, you find Gladiator kind of overrated, then this is his best film since Blade Runner. Yes, really. But before you get too excited, let me say that this is not a classic on the level of Blade Runner or Alien, but it is a great film. It is one of the year's best films so far, and it is something I would love to see get nominated for Best Picture, unlikely though that is. Now, a little bit of full disclosure here. I haven't read the source material on which the film is based, but I can say just on its own merits that this is a great, great film. The Martian had me in its grip from the minute it begins. I kind of expected that there would be about 30 to 40 minutes of establishing scenes where you meet the crew and you probably meet all their families as well, and then eventually Matt Damon will get stranded on Mars. This just doesn't happen. The film actually opens in Mars and Matt Damon gets stranded there in the first 10 minutes of the film. And what I really loved about Drew Gollard's script was that he did away with all the preambles that you expect from a film like this. Now, a lot of people online have been comparing the film to Christopher Nolan's Interstellar from last year, but I'm not really seeing the worth in comparing the two, if I'm honest. If anything, The Martian has a lot more in common with the brilliant Tom Hanks film Castaway, as Ridley Scott spends a lot of time delving into Matt Damon's character trying to grow food and basically just survive on Mars, and he doesn't really have any characters to bounce dialogue off. In fact, after that initial stranding sequence, Ridley Scott actually sticks with Matt Damon's character for an entire uninterrupted 20 minutes, and I really loved that he had faith and respect for audiences, that they wouldn't be bored or lose interest, and that they would be intrigued by what was going on. He took something of a gamble that Matt Damon would be able to hold the audience's interest, and I think it's a testament to his performance in this film that it totally paid off. Back on Earth is where the movie's other characters come into play, and I think it's safe to say Ridley Scott has assembled an exceptional cast for this film. The meatiest supporting parts go to Jeff Daniels, who plays the head of NASA, Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays the director of the mission, and also Jessica Chastain, who plays the captain of the mission to rescue Matt Damon's character. But there are tons of other great parts in this film. Kristen Wiig was a really interesting casting choice for NASA's PR liaison in this film, although sadly she doesn't really get that much screen time. And also there's Sean Bean, who gives easily his best work on any movie since Lord of the Rings. Now, without spoiling anything, there is one terrific Sean Bean related joke in this movie. When I saw the film last night, it brought the house down, it was hysterical and very unexpected. In fact, unexpected is a really good way to describe this film, because I went in thinking this was going to be a witty but pretty serious film about a man trying to survive. But the really big surprise is that it's actually hilarious, and I laughed a lot. The biggest running joke throughout the film is that Jessica Chastain's character has an awful taste in music, and so a lot of the scenes are set to classic cheesy 80s songs. I won't say which ones to preserve the surprise a little bit, but needless to say, they combine with the comic relief elements to really balance the film tonally, which is something I did not expect at all. I mean, sure, you could argue that the comic approach undermines the stakes of the situation slightly, or maybe it means the suspense isn't quite as effective. But by the time this film got to the final rescue scenario, I was completely sucked into the experience. And that's exactly what The Martian is. It's an experience. It's something you need to see on the biggest screen you absolutely can, because this film looks incredible. Ridley Scott directs the hell out of this film, and it's amazing to me that a guy who's pushing 80 can make a film that looks so muscular, so well formed, and it's the same with Mad Max Fury Road earlier this year, where George Miller is like 70 and he's made this incredible action film that his younger rivals just can't keep up with. Of course, a major reason that the film looks so good is cinematographer Dariusz Wolski, who has lensed a few of Ridley Scott's most recent films now, and I think regardless of your opinion of Prometheus, the consensus is that that film looks incredible. There was never a single moment in this film where I didn't feel like I was watching a man on Mars. And I think between Gravity, Interstellar and this film, Hollywood has pretty much mastered space-based visual effects now. The numerous sequences set in space look absolutely fantastic, and again, I just felt like I was there. How this movie can have cost $12 million less than this year's Fantastic Four, which had a really murky, bland colour palette, is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. The most pleasant surprise for me, however, was that this movie had easily some of the best 3D I've ever seen. Now, admittedly, I'm not really a 3D guy. I try to watch films in 2D if I can help it, because the only films I can think of that were really enhanced by 3D were, say, Avatar, How to Train Your Dragon and Gravity. But Ridley Scott has really done an excellent job with the format here. The opening storm sequence, for instance, there's debris and dirt flying everywhere, and it really makes you feel like you're there with Matt Damon's character. It's also used extremely effectively for all of the landscape shots of Mars, and it really adds to the sense of thrill and danger in that final rescue sequence. I was also really impressed with how non-intrusive the 3D was during the dialogue-based scenes, especially back on Earth. Ridley Scott just lets the 3D take a back seat so that the drama can unfold. There aren't any of those cheesy gimmicks that filmmakers love to pull out. So it's very rare that I say this, but this is absolutely a 3D film worth paying the extra for, and as long as your local cinema is configured correctly, this film will look superb in the format. To conclude, I'm just thrilled that Ridley Scott has not just made a great film here, but he's made a really great sci-fi film. It ticks so many boxes. It's smart, funny, thrilling, well acted, and visually stunning. Like I said, I think it loses a few points just because the screws could have been turned up a little bit in terms of the tension if it wasn't trying to be quite so funny. But you know what? I came out of this film with a smile on my face. I was thoroughly entertained, so I can't really complain all that much. I just can't remember the last time a sci-fi film evoked this feeling of wonder. And though the Academy is notoriously prejudiced against the sci-fi genre, I mean, I think this film is absolutely worthy of at least Best Picture and Best Director nominations, and obviously a ton of technical stuff too. So my final score for The Martian is an 8 out of 10. It's a great movie. You should definitely go see it when it comes out. Finally, thank you for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe, and if there's anything you would like me to review that's coming out, please let me know. I saw Sicario the other night, so I'll be reviewing that over the weekend, so please make sure to check that out as well. And again, thanks for watching.